All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to say it's 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter. And I got to tell you right now, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Not really one clue. Well, no, that's not true. I have one clue of one thing that we might talk about, and there we go. So, to get the party started, why don't we say, hey, Pussycat, good to see you. I think you might be the first one in here today. Gina Gamba coming in, welcoming everybody here to the Statterbox crew. Chatter with Statter, letting us know the particular time schedule that we're on. And it looks like Pussycat and Gina are the only ones in the house right now, and that is not surprising because Rick and Darlene are up north at their cabin, and I believe that Shock is busy doing life things, and so we are running with a lot of our support staff missing in action, and that's okay because life takes precedence. So we definitely have a couple support staff still, like Gina and Fuzzy, but yeah, we aren't flying with the full crew today. All right, you guys. Gina, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully there won't be nearly as many coughs or sniffles as there was in the last stream. When I rewatched it, I was like, geez, girl, you thought you were all better, but you're just coughing and sniffling throughout the whole thing. I think I'm a little better than last time. Hard to say. And let's see here. I hope you guys are all doing well. And while you're contemplating whether or not you're doing well, why don't we get the party started, shall we? All right, then, let's do it. All right, there we have it. E-Music coming in as well, saying that she's glad that I'm assuming she's referring to me, feeling a little bit better. Yeah, I have been feeling fine for quite some time. I will admit, yesterday at work, I kind of worked a little harder than usual, trying to catch up for the time that I took off. Luckily, not a busy time of the year right now, but I can honestly say last night when I went to bed, I was ready for bed. It was a good bedtime to have last night. Yes, indeedy. And Gina, you finally got to your new doctor today, huh? Awesome. June 4th is when I'm going to be meeting with my new doctor, and I have plans to intimidate her right from the get-go. That's right. I'm feeling hostile towards my care provider, and that is the absolute opposite way you should be feeling. And I hope, Gina, you are feeling the opposite of what I am feeling right now. I'm hoping that you are stoked and happy, and at least, if nothing else, somewhat pleased with your meeting today. At worst, I hope that you're somewhat pleased. At best, I hope you're super stoked, dude. But that's just me. All right, then. So, Huzzy Cat. Just the other day, I got to see Leo. Actually, just last night, I saw Leo. I heard some crunching, and I was like, that doesn't sound like Dusty or Ash's crunching. That's Leo crunching. And I looked, and it was Leo. But a few days prior to that, I got up in the middle of the night because I had to do some piddle paddles. And in the house, of course, was Leo sneaking on in. And Ashes chased him up the kitty tree, and then he promptly fell asleep. So I can say, without a doubt, that Leo is visiting the homestead on a regular basis, and he's doing much. He's just living his life just wonderfully. And good, Gina, light years better than the old one. Perfect. And Pussycat, it was very hot today, so you have Kylo a bath outside. Oh, awesome. Kylo probably didn't appreciate it, but I'll bet you didn't mind that chore, because when it's super hot, it is nice to play in the hose. And if you're an adult, you have to find a reason to play with the hose. So sometimes you have to wash your car, sometimes you have to wash your dog, sometimes you have to like pretend that you're gardening and stuff, and then you get to play with the hose. And e-music, yes, you'd like to take a list on 3x5 cards of things to discuss. Doctors like it. If they don't, you don't return. That is a good plan. I have my list of things to ask about on my phone, but what I'm going to do before I even start talking, my plan of action is I'm going to do this for two reasons. First off, one, given the interaction that I had with my previous doctor and how that interaction was noted in the notes that the doctor wrote, that was her notes were definitely one side of the story and not the entire story. And I didn't appreciate that. It was very, it was written in a very slanted, a lot of things were omitted, shall we say. And so because of that, I am going to be entering the doctor's appointment on June 4th with the first thing I will be stating is Washington State is a dual consent state for recording any and all conversations. I am currently recording our interaction. Do I have your permission to continue with this recording? If not, I'll stop the recording now. But I'm going to record the entire interaction. And then if she says no, I'll turn the recorder off and I'll just take notes. But if she doesn't say no, then I will continue to record the entire appointment as it takes place because I don't want to ever have to read notes that were so incomplete about a visit like I did the last time I met with a doctor. And so, Lady Misty, good to see you. And by the way, you guys, recording conversations absolutely have different laws in different states. And in some states, you don't have to have dual consent. Washington State is dual consent, which means the person who is recording it has to give you permission. And since they're recording it, the permission's kind of implied. But then also the person who is being recorded, the other party that is going, or any and all of the parties that are going to be recorded, have to consent to it. Not every state is like that. So if you're in a state where you only have a singular consent law, where you that means you literally can walk into your doctor's office and record everything with or without their permission. But because Washington State is what's known as a dual consent state, you have to get the permission of the people you're recording, along with permission from yourself to record it, which is kind of implied. So anyway, I am going to be hitting her with that, and it might be a little bit intimidating, but I don't really care. Actually, that's not true. I do care, and I hope it is intimidating because that is part of the intent. Because I am not going to let that doctor have any kind of power over me until I decide that doctor is going to have power over me, because right now, she's not my doctor. Right now, she's just someone I'm interviewing to be my doctor. And yeah, that's right. I've got an attitude. And if you don't know why I've got an attitude, you can go watch a couple streams ago, and I got on a soapbox as to why I have an attitude. But let me just say, take control of your medical care, y'all, just like Gina did. Just like Gina did. And Pussycat, bragging that you barbecued some burgers today. Yum. I had 2 hamburgers for dinner last night. 2 hamburger patties. They were delicious. And e-music, you have a little black note that you keep in for all medical visits. When I go back and forth from doctors, you can refer back to what each doc said. Yeah, that is super brilliant. And if they're not going to allow me to record my own appointment for whatever privacy reasons, I will be taking notes. Abso-flippin-lutely. But you bring up a good point. I was thinking of just taking notes on my phone. That being said, I maybe should think about getting an actual little doctor notebook to have on hand. I like that idea a lot, actually. And e-music, Rick and Darlene went with you to a Mayo Clinic appointment, so Rick secretly recorded the doctor visit. Shh, I won't tell anybody. E-music, but I love that. And you know what, actually, in Wisconsin, it might not have even had to have been, or I don't know where you were at the Mayo Clinic, because Mayo Clinics are everywhere. But you know what, dude? You might have even been legal to do it anyway. I don't know. All I can know is every state is different, but a lot of states don't require disclosure. Just because on the phone and stuff, they do, that's oftentimes because they're calling a lot of different states. You know how this may be a recorded line. That warning is always out there because there might be dual consent states, but not every state is a dual consent state. You might be surprised at how many states are not. Just so happens Washington is. That's where I'm located, so I have to do the legal stuff in my state. I mean, I don't have to do the legal stuff in my state, but I don't intend to break the law. I do intend to be very open about the fact that I'm recording the conversation. And Mayo's in Rochester, Minnesota. Yeah, at first I was like, oh, Wisconsin. I was like, wait, no, Mayo is not Wisconsin. So yeah, I have no idea if Minnesota is dual consent or not. But when it comes to medical care, frankly, I don't really care what the law is. Sometimes it's important to have that recording so you can remember exactly what it is that the doctor told you, because it's impossible to take notes at the rate of human speech. And so unless you bring in a stenographer or a court reporter who can actually keep up with with real-time talking, your best bet and your best documentation is recording your visit, right? It just is. And Cindy Krause, I don't know if I said hello to you, but I'm so stoked that you're here today because you don't get to come in very often. And so the fact that you have time makes me happy, happy, happy. And Amy's like, the doctor was stuck up and would have said no to a recording. Yeah, see, and that, that doesn't surprise me at all. And if the doctor does say no, my doctor that I'm going to be following the law with and asking permission, if they do say no, that's the first strike against them. And I don't think that this doctor really knows or understands that this isn't actually going to be, she's under the impression that it's an annual exam that I'm going to be going in for. But that's actually not what it is. It's an interview for her job. For her job as my doctor. Obviously not her job at Kaiser. And Gina, you had an attitude with your old doctor, but thought it was warranted because she was so awful. She didn't include me in decisions, didn't listen to my concerns or respect your boundaries. She violated privacy laws by publicly commenting on Google reviews. I feel like that might have been a HIPAA violation, dude. But, yeah, wow, dude. Like, wow. And anyone who's been on this stream for any minute knows that I don't shut up. So, like, for me to go silent in response to that news, whoa, dude, F that noise. Pardon my French, but F that noise. Yeah. And Mama Sean, brilliant. Your gastroenterologist used AI to transcribe our appointment. That is actually not a bad use of AI. I obviously don't know the techno-ethical questions that might bring up, but from my limited understanding and perspective, that seems like a really good use of AI. Now, somebody who knows more about AI might just be like, oh, dude, that's the dumbest idea, and here's why. But I don't know that. So that seems like a really good use of AI to me. And exactly, Fuzzycat, what happened to Confidential? I mean, I used to work in the mental health industry, and the mental health industry is covered by the same laws that the physical health industry is governed by. And I'm vaguely familiar with what you are and are not allowed to say. And you can't even confirm if someone's a patient of yours, let alone whether or not you've seen that patient, whether or not whatever happened. Like that, these are things that you just cannot talk about. Ay, 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 ay. And Cindy, my doctor has a portal and all the stuff discussed is on there. Right, Cindy, that's where I got to look at my notes from my previous doctor's appointment. And I was pretty stunned at the bias written clearly from the doctor's perspective. It was less than half the story. It absolutely did not reflect the appointment as it really happened. And so that's why I am requesting to be recording this particular one so I can refute the notes that show up on the portal later if need be. Or if not refute them, add to them. And Pussycat, I would think about taking legal action against that doctor. You know, unfortunately, while I am so in support of that and totally on the same page, unfortunately, unless you've got money to burn, lawyers cost money, you know? And so that's what ends up happening. I mean, it's just, you know, unless you're rich enough to be litigious, you're kind of left powerless, you know, a victim of an idiot doctor who really should have known better. That being said, I still probably would have reported them to whatever clinic they worked for. And eMusic, Kaiser? Yes. How did you guess? When I was young and we had Kaiser, the doctors were so bad, I called them Killer Kaiser and told my mom my epitaph should read, "I told you not to take me to Kaiser." You know, I'm starting to feel that way about the Kaisers as well. Yeah, you know, and the thing is I can badmouth Kaiser all I want because first off, they're my insurance provider right now, and second off, well, I'm on the internet with a platform, and so here I am. But the reality is, I would be willing to bet that, maybe I'm just telling myself this, but I mean, I would be willing to bet that all insurance companies are nightmares in their own way. You know, they've all got their, oh my God, why did they do that? And, you know, I can only assume that, you know, crummy doctors are everywhere. I mean, not that every doctor is crummy. That's not what I mean at all. But the potential for a crummy doctor, you have that potential anywhere. That's what I mean. And, right, exactly, Gina. You're just not in the position to do that. Precisely. But you're right, eMusic. A lot of clinics have a patient family advisory committee or some kind of ombudsman or advocacy group within their organization. And I definitely would, and that doesn't cost any money to go be a squeaky wheel there. So, if I was angry enough, and we all know I could be, if I were in Gina's shoes, I probably would have been knocking on that door saying, I have a letter of complaint. I give this doctor a 1-star review, and here's why. Gina, I'm not saying that you sound like that. I don't know why I did that voice. I just had to do a voice. Hey there, Deb Case, coming in from Kentucky for a few. We're just sitting here kvetching about doctors and stuff. Definitely not a great fun note to start the stream on. I don't know why I decided to be so bitchy, but you know, it comes natural. Pardon my French once again. Crow coming in. Pizza. Crow. I, for the longest time, have not really wanted pizza. It's not really been a thing I've craved, but in the last 24 hours, I've seen a couple different pizzas online that have made me, and they weren't even that good looking of a pizza, but I think my gluten-free is finally kind of catching up to me, because it's just I really want some pizza. I really want some pizza. Pizza. I want some pizza. So yeah, Yeah, everybody wants pizza. And so, except for maybe Cindy Krause, because she has to go see a neurologist at the end of the month to be able to get your cholesterol meds? Wait, what? Okay, Cindy, let me just make sure I read this right. I have to go see a neurologist at the end of the month to be able to get the cholesterol meds I need because the insurance said no. Not thrilled, but we'll see how it goes. Why in the flying fork? Yeah, that's right, flying fork. Why in the... oh no. Oh no, I almost did something. Wait, why in the flying fork? And yeah, I'm gonna, now that I am not breaking my internet anymore. Why is the insurance company telling you whether or not you need medicines? That's not the job of an insurance company at all. That makes me very angry, actually. Now, I do understand if maybe the cholesterol meds, if your neurologist was concerned about the cholesterol meds being problematic for your treatment, but that's the neurologist, not the insurance company. Oh, no, Cindy, I am angry for you on behalf of you. You better make sure you get yourself taken care of and tell that insurance company to go kiss your grits, as Flo would say on Alice, if you're old enough to remember that. And you think Bruno's is still open? Got to get your wife to get you some. There you go. Hey, C Honda, good to see you. That's right, soapbox. We're soapboxing it from the get-go today. And Mama Sean, Aldi has a cauliflower crust pizza that's not too bad. Yeah, I've heard that Trader Joe's does too, but actually, oddly enough, the reason why I think it's my gluten that's my gluten desire that's coming through is it's not even the pizza that I've been looking at on the internet that comes through. It's the crust. And I want that bread. I want the bread, not the cauliflower. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to hold out as long as I can. But I have noticed in the last few days, the idea of a pizza has been sounding more and more delicioso. And, oh no, Crow, you haven't had a taste for food this past few weeks because everything tastes like campfire ashes, like that burn ash kind of taste. You don't know why, but maybe not eat that much this week. That totally makes sense. And I have to wonder if maybe, did you get COVID? Because I know that COVID still is affecting some people's taste buds. I got COVID last week and I didn't have that as an issue. But a couple of my other friends who got COVID from maybe me, most likely me, probably me, they did have that. So I was typhoid Mary this last week or so on accident. I didn't know I had COVID. I thought it was just a cold. I felt like an ass. I felt really bad, actually. And let's see here. Yeah, eMusic. Oh, hey, eMusic. I am going to steal that. I tell insurance company employees that if they don't have MD after their name, they're illegally practicing medicine. Oh, eMusic. I love that. That's, yes. Okay, you guys. I don't care what state you're in. This is going to be true across the board. If you don't have an MD, you're probably, yeah, exactly. That's actually not necessarily true, eMusic. As we all know, there are ifs, ands, or buts. A naturopathic doctor has an ND at the end of their name, and then some nurses, nurse practitioners, etc., can prescribe some medicines. That being said, we all know that the insurance agent, the insurance employee, is neither a naturopath, a medical doctor, a registered nurse, a practitioner, a nurse practitioner, or any of the other myriad of medical personnel that actually can write prescriptions. So, yeah, there you go. Illegally practicing medicine. I love it. I'm stealing it. I am stealing it. And Crow, you tested negative. That was your first thought. Multiple times you tested and you were clear each time. Oh, awesome. Well, good for you. Good for you. And Gina, that is true. Don't attribute to malice what can be explained by ignorance. Absolutely. That being said, though, I do think that insurance companies need to be reminded of the restrictions that they are legally obliged to work within. Because I think that they do know. I think that they are actually not ignorant of the law, and they're just trying to save them. They're just trying to save some money for their employer, and that saving money for their employer doesn't necessarily reflect anything on my health, good or bad, or it might reflect poorly on my health, and so that's not my concern. And yeah, Mama Sean, also, there we go, without sounding so arrogant, but a little bit more curious, you can definitely ask what degree the employee reviewing your information has and refute their findings. Oh, you were thinking about me unwittingly spreading COVID. Got it, yes. Thank you so much for the generosity in your attitude towards me. I was ignorant, I will give you that, but I still felt like an ass. And Crow, but sometimes it's a lot worse some days, like it gets more wood burn. That is really weird. Yeah, the only thing I've ever heard about with the whole flavor thing is, you know, the Ronas. And I wonder why you're doing that. I mean, it's wonderful if you wanted to lose weight, I guess, but if you don't need to lose weight, then that can be problematic. And I wonder, can you like lean into it, you know, like eat foods that normally taste good with ash, like hot dogs or something? S'mores? Pretend you're eating a s'more at a campfire? Huh. That is so bizarre. Well, I can tell you right now, Crow, I don't have an MD after my name, so I have no idea what's going on there. Right, barbecue, exactly. It's like maybe just start eating a lot of barbecue? I don't know. And let's see here. Cindy Krause bragging about her homemade sourdough pizza dough. Now that actually might be good. And let's see here. Crow, you also tried that, but it tasted worse. Maybe it's because I don't like hot dogs, but that's something. Okay. Maybe you shouldn't eat hot dogs then, if you don't like hot dogs. How about a s'more, right? Maybe a s'more. Wow, though, that is kind of weird. All right, so, oh, music, you didn't mean to say, only said. You don't like s'mores? I was going to say, what are we going to do with you, Crow? But I know what we're going to do with you. We are going to sit you right next to me at the campfire. And all of your allocated s'mores are going to go in my belly. That's what we're going to do with you, Crow. Yep, there you go. That's what we're going to do with you. We're going to put you in the campfire. Not in the campfire. No, we're not going to put you in the campfire. That's not part of the plan. We're going to put you around the campfire, along with everybody. We're going to allocate s'mores to everyone around the campfire. And then we're going to steal all your s'mores that were allocated to you. That's what we're going to do. All right, there we go. And, E-Music, what don't you like about s'mores? I think he said they're too sweet, but you probably wrote that just as he said that. And Cindy Krause, I don't think... Cindy? There we go. Suddenly, Cindy has turned into a cannibal. because of last stream's cannibal sandwiches, she took it one step further and decided to start eating all the Semites. Except for that's not really true. It was just the s'mores. S'mores are much sweeter than Semites. They're less salty, they have way less bones, and Semite or not, we've already decided humans are too salty and have too much bone. They're not worth eating. I suppose I was the only one who thought that was funny, but that was just hysterical. And you don't like Crow, you don't like the chocolate? And then marshmallows are kind of nasty when they're heated. Oh my. Cindy Krause, right. This spell checker must be Middle Eastern. Exactly. Now the Semites, were they kosher? Were they halal? Were they both? What kind of flatbread did you use? Did you use a pita? And let's see here. Yes, Auto Carrot alive and well tonight for sure. And you've never had s'mores, but you love chocolate. See Honda. Okay, Crow, you're off the hook because you've at least had s'mores and you don't like them. See Honda. What? You've never had a s'more? How have you never had a s'more? You know what the s'mores are, right? They're the, graham cracker. I'm sure you know. Graham cracker, roasted marshmallow, chocolate, usually Hershey's, and then more graham cracker. And deprived, oh honey, I dare say you have been deprived. Because s'mores are way too sweet, absolutely going to give you a bellyache because of the sugar, and also worth every bit of suffering that you will have. It is just... See, Honda, have you roasted a marshmallow before? Have you roasted a marshmallow before? Please say you've roasted a marshmallow before. And you can make fake s'mores. You know what it's like. Sounds good. Not much camping, mostly hotel stays. Fair enough. And Andre, s'more musubi. No. Explain what? No. Explain? I mean, my instinct is no, but you might come up with a no, what I meant was, at which point I'll be like, oh, that sounds good. So what do you mean by that? S'more musubi? Because if you're talking like marshmallow wrapped in nori, I'm like, no. But if you're just like, no, what I meant was this, I'm very curious. And of course, Lady Misty, your husband says he's burned s'mores before. You don't make a good s'more without accidentally burning a s'more. You have to learn exactly where the edge is. There, you got to learn. You generally don't learn where the edge is until you've crossed over it. And so, okay, see, Honda, you have roasted marshmallows before over a candle. Awesome. Okay. Well, imagine a roasted marshmallow with the melty chocolate and some graham cracker. It's delicious. And here's the deal. You can do a fake one. My sister and I used to do this when we were kids. In the microwave, you take a square of the graham cracker. You know how graham crackers usually come in a rectangle, but you can break them into two squares. So you take the two squares, or you take the one square actually, and then you put a row of the Hershey's chocolate candy bar, like the little, the three, just one row of the regular shaped candy bar on that. And then you put a marshmallow on top of that, and then you turn the microwave on, and then the marshmallow will get poofy. And then before the marshmallow gets too poofy, you turn the microwave off. And so then the marshmallow's all soft inside, and the chocolate's still melty. And then you put the other half of the graham cracker on top, and then you go yum, 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 yum. And so you can get a s'more-like experience from your microwave. And exactly, E-Music, you haven't been camping unless you've burned a marshmallow or s'mores. I 1000% agree. And for those of you who say that s'mores are too messy, I 100% agree as well. But that doesn't mean that they're too messy to eat. It just means they're too messy. I still eat them, but they're just too messy. One of the reasons why you need to eat them outside, though, is so you can get the crumbs off of your... the crumbs can fall down onto the ground. And if you drop a piece of hot marshmallow, it can also fall down on the ground. And, but doesn't it poof out of the hard graham cracker? No, okay, no. No, because when you squish it, it kind of does, but you just eat it. You got to eat it. But when you're cooking the marshmallow and chocolate on the graham cracker in the microwave, you have the one graham cracker, the chocolate, the marshmallow. That you put in the microwave. Marshmallow goes boof, and then when you turn the microwave off, the marshmallow goes a little bit back down. And then you take that out of the microwave. Then you put the other graham cracker on top. You make a sandwich, and then you squish it a little bit, and yeah, it squishes a little, but that's when you go and you eat it real fast, and then you get stuff all over your face, and your hands get all sticky, and that's part of the beauty of a s'more. Just what it is. Plus, you don't like camping, all the bugs and stuff. You're so silly, Crow. You're so silly. And Mama Sean, I agree. The microwave s'mores are not nearly as good as the fire toasted marshmallows. I 1000% agree. But for those of you who don't have fire pits, who aren't fire pit accessible, the microwave is the next best thing. Next best thing. Not closest best thing, not best thing, just next best thing. Because you're right. You got to have it over the fire. You really do. Now, if you have a gas burning stove, you could probably do roast marshmallow over the gas burning stove. I've never done that, so I have no advice on doing that. And you know what, C Honda, wearing gloves to eat it, actually very acceptable, because it is a sticky mess. There's no two ways about that. And Penel coming in saying aloha. Thank you so much, Penel, for subscribing for 28 months. And Terry in Scotland coming in, rating with 5 viewers. C Honda, yes, Cindy Krause totally has a great idea. A finger bowl for when we're eating s'mores. And so, Terry coming in saying, we're here. And Terry, we are talking about, actually, that's not just Terry and Penel and everybody else who came here, all you raiders. We are talking about s'mores. S'mores. And a few people here have never had s'mores. And a few other people here don't like s'mores. They don't like chocolate, they don't like marshmallows, and they don't like bugs. Bugs aren't traditionally a part of the s'more, but they are part of the s'more experience. And for those of you who don't know what a s'more is, just in case you don't know what a s'more is, it's graham cracker. Okay, a traditional s'more, that is. Graham cracker, chocolate, marshmallow, graham cracker. And Terry... But Terry, you're from the United States. You've never had s'mores? They don't have them here. I can appreciate that you haven't had s'mores in a long time, Terry, because they don't have them there. But how have you never... Terry, you've never had s'mores really in your life, even when you used to live in Texas? You are deprived, my friend. And, oh, right, Crow, correction. He likes marshmallows. He just doesn't like heated up marshmallows. Because, I don't know why, because heated up marshmallows are way better than marshmallows. I don't really like marshmallows. I love roasted marshmallows. And E-Music, exactly. One of the best things about eating a gooey s'more is licking your fingers when the stuff runs over them. Yes, exactly. And then what happens, you see, if you really want the lowdown, I think E-Music might be able to confirm this. So what happens is, you get all the stickiness, and then your hands are just super sticky. And then they become so sticky that basically all of the dirt and the soot and the ashes and everything, they get stuck to your hands, and then your hands are no longer sticky because all of the ashes are stuck to your hands, and then you're just filthy. And C Honda, I just have a thing about food on your fingers. Fair enough. And good point, Mama Sean. I know that they've got chocolate over in Scotland. I'm guessing they probably have marshmallows, but you know what? I don't know if they have graham crackers. I think graham crackers, and boy, do I not know what I'm talking about. But I think graham crackers are an American invention. I definitely don't. I definitely don't know if what I'm saying is true. I will cop to that. But okay, Andre, yes, graham crackers are American. Okay. Terry in Scotland, no graham crackers there. All right, yeah. Well, not gonna lie, you kind of need a graham cracker for a s'more. I can't really think of an alternate. I mean, I guess you could. Well, now wait a second here. Hold on. Hey, Shock, good to see you. I was just about to say, I don't think that I could think of any substitutes for a graham cracker, but that is totally not true. Crow, a scone? I don't think the scone would be of the right. I mean, well, first off, let's try it, right? But I don't think that would be exactly the right texture. But what I do, that's exactly what I was thinking, Terry in Scotland. Not just the tea biscuits, the hobnobs. The Odie ones are a little bit more textured. Both of them would be good. I think the hobnobs might be better. But yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. It would be the tea biscuits and then a piece of Hershey's chocolate. And honestly, it really does need to be Hershey's because Cadbury is just too delicious. But you could use Cadbury's. But Cadbury's just deserves to be eaten on its own. Anyway, but Terry, they don't have many marshmallows in England. Well, now that's weird. I thought marshmallows were kind of a universal treat. That being said, I don't even know how to make marshmallows, so I don't even know what a marshmallow actually is. I mean, it's sugar. There we go. It's sugar. And yes, hobnobs hobnobs are just excellent anyway. But yes, hobnobs. And Shock, the dude who invented graham crackers did so because he advocated a diet that would keep the passions quiet and keep people from Indeedy. They're too busy. Their hands are too sticky from s'mores if they eat the graham crackers to do anything else. Because nobody wants sticky s'more fingers to be run through their hair. Hey there, Kenny from the Cove. Good to see you. You're trying to get a head start on your storm cleanup. Oh, is the storm already come and gone? I was wondering if you were going to be showing face today because I saw your post earlier about a scary storm coming your way. And it sounds like or looks like you still have electricity, so that is good. And let's see here. Gelatins and sugars, so vegans need vegan marshmallows. Yeah, a lot of marshmallows are vegan these days, and I have no idea how they do that. And yeah, Mama Sean, I knew that sugar and gelatin was the traditional, but they actually do have a vegan method now, and I can't even. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what it is that they use to make the vegan ones. And, it was more about the whole diet being a deliberate form of malnutrition. Well, right, because there was a time when starvation diets were the cure-all to everything. In fact, we did a stream about this, a couple years ago in Port Orchard, Washington, actually Olalla. which is pretty much directly west of where I live, on the Kitsap Peninsula, there was a doctor that was nationwide famous. People would come from all over to come to her her spa, her sanatorium, to get healthier and cure what ails them. And a lot of those people starved themselves to death because she believed in a starvation diet. And for those of you who've been to the Seattle area or are familiar with the Seattle area, there is a restaurant chain called Ivar's. Ivar's has really good clam chowder, and Ivar Haugland's mother died at the sanatorium of starvation when he was just a child. Needless to say, if you ever saw a picture of Ivar Haugland, you would realize that he did not subscribe to the same thoughts of health that his mom did. And let's see here. Yes, Victorians ate tapeworm segments to lose weight. And actually, back in the day, I was reading people used to eat gunpowder to lose weight. I don't even know how that worked. But okay, Andre is coming in with the truth. Finely ground up vegans and sugar equals vegan marshmallows. That tracks. And yes, Shock, vegetarian diets were often prescribed to quiet the passions. In fact, actually, I have been told, whether or not this is true or not, I cannot say, but I have been told that tofu was served to a lot of monks for the reasons of quieting the passions. The phytoestrogens helped to curb the testosterone effects of, manliness. Yeah. And, and Bill Clinton is a vegan. Did it quiet his passions? Hard to say, Terry, hard to say. I guess Hillary would be the only one to know that for certain. And, well, yeah, never mind. We're not going to go there. And E-Music, right. You lose weight when you diet. Not the best message. You would be surprised at how many people were caught up by that message, though. It's a really morbid history. I think the building is still there, actually, and a lot of people died in it's. If you want to learn more about what I'm talking about, Google Starvation Heights, and you'll be able to read up all about what I'm talking about. Starvation Heights, and let's see here. Shock. Given that the soy baby formula is associated with early puberty in girls and other symptoms in boys, I have no trouble believing it. You want fermented soy, not straight soy. Right, yeah. Tempeh is what you want there. And weren't cornflakes invented for the same reason? Yeah, what? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was to help the enfeebled eat breakfast or something. But yeah, it was definitely part of the whole. I think that was what Kellogg was all about, was trying to create. I think Kellogg, similar to what I was just talking about, I think Kellogg had a health spa, a sanitarium, or whatever, sanatorium, whatever it is, for people to go. And that was, yeah, to lose weight and do all that. And yep, a lot of these foods were invented for these reasons. And yeah, several guys got involved in that era, competition to make people so unhealthy they wouldn't feel like it would just quiet their passions. Yeah, I don't know if the cornflakes were meant to quiet the passions, but I do know that it was meant as part of an overall dietary scheme. Whatever the point of the dietary scheme, I cannot say, but it was part of his health plan. And let's see here. Kellogg, let's see. Oh, wow. Here we go. Yeah, exactly, Kenny. Kellogg's early aspirations were toward health food. And I had no idea that Kellogg had a thing for enemas. But I do know that enemas and bloodletting were considered health practices. Leeches also. So, you know. And let's see here. And the Hare Krishnas still practice that kind of diet for that reason. Makes sense. And you got your computer working better than the phone of this. Got it. And cornflakes go mushy. Good for the old folks. True. But you know what, dude? I'll tell you what. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. Cornflakes, plain cornflakes with like equal parts brown sugar. Seriously, dude, cornflakes and brown sugar are so flippin' good. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that my enthusiasm for this has a lot to do with my lack of sugar these days. And so the idea of cornflakes with brown sugar, just sounds like, that's going to hit the right spot. But even before I didn't do my no sugars for the last 5 months, even before that, brown sugar and cornflakes is the best combination. If you're going to have a plain cereal with sugar on it, plain cornflakes with brown sugar is the way to go. That much I will tell you. And let's see here. Crow, did you know that they never took the addictive substance out of Coca-Cola? It is flavored with coca leaf extract. What makes said addictive substance? It's just not as noticeable. Well, Crow, actually, you... There's a couple addictive substance. Yep, that's... Yep. Mm-hmm. There's a couple addictive substances in Coca-Cola, and the first one, frankly, is sugar. Sugar is the biggest addictive substance that's in that Coca-Cola. But even when you take that sugar out, let me tell you, baby doll, you are right. There is something addictive in Coca-Cola. One of the hardest addictions I have ever had to get over was my Diet Coke addiction. You guys, I have done a lot of drugs and alcohol over my life, and only one substance in my life have I ever craved a fix for, and I describe it as a fix, and then the moment I get that fix, I could feel everything getting right in the world. And that was Diet Coke. I could drink a 12-pack of Diet Coke a day. If I didn't have a Diet Coke by the end of the day, I would be white-knuckling it. And I'd get to the fridge, and that first Diet Coke, after white-knuckling it all day, would give me a boost the way you'd think a heroin addict must feel. And honestly, I gotta say, that was the hardest drug I've ever had to quit. And exactly, the hit, girlfriend, don't you know it? Shock knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. And Terry, a 12-pack would be, I could drink a 12-pack a day. I did everything in my power not to, but let me tell you, if I had let myself, I would have and could have every single day. And let's see here. You still crave the occasional Diet Coke fix, but now you're getting Diet Dr. Pepper. Yeah, Diet Dr. Pepper, oddly enough, never did whatever the flying fork it was that Coke did. It never did that to me. Diet Dr. Pepper, though, very good diet drink. As far as like diet sodas go, Diet Dr. Pepper and Diet Ginger Ale, to me, taste the most like their non-diet counterparts. Diet Coke tastes nothing like Coca-Cola. It's its own animal. And oh my God. Yeah, it was my thing. Oh. And let's see here. And yes, Gina, there is caffeine in Coca-Cola, also another addictive thing. Yeah, Coca-Cola is just absolutely full of addictive properties. In English comic Judge Dredd, sugar is considered a dangerous drug. One could argue it is, in real life, a dangerous drug. In e-music, the high fructose corn syrup in sodas is addicting. fMRIs have proven Coke, Pepsi, and excitotoxin to the pain equals addiction. Yep, there you go. But also though, Mama Sean coming in, cut out the fake sugar, they mess with your heart. Fake sugars mess with a lot of things. And it all depends on the fake sugar of what they're going to be messing up. But yeah, fake sugars are definitely a problem. And fake sugars are also addicting, as mentioned with the Diet Coke. Diet Coke hit. And Pussycat, you're addicted to caffeine, it sounds like, because you can't remember not ever having coffee in the morning. I can take or leave coffee in the morning. I like it. Out of habit, but and let's see here. God dang it, I keep breaking my internets. I don't know what's going on here. Stop, you guys. Here we go. And let's see here. Now you just Pussycat, you just want to get something to eat. Call your wife, have her bring the pizza. Remember, you're getting pizza. And Crow, I drink water every morning and have a thing where I can't have a cup of coffee until afternoon or until 6 to 8 hours after you wake up. Seems like an arbitrary thing, but at the same time, a cup of water first thing in the morning is never a bad idea. So, dude, awesome. And let's see here, two Taifu tea bags per cup will make your heart race. Londoners love the stuff. And Gina, caffeine triggers your anxiety. I can appreciate that. When I was younger, I used to be able to drink a can of Coke and go to sleep. Caffeine was not that big of an issue, but as I've gotten older, I am a little bit more sensitive. And Terry, oh my God, dude, tea has so much more caffeine than coffee. And if it doesn't, my body treats it like it does. Tea will send me through the roof. Andre, thank you so much for gifting that sub. And I remember once I went to a tea party, like for real, dude, a tea party. The kind, like it's not code for anything. It's literally we drank tea, and we were trying different teas, little cups, not even full cups, just little shots of different kinds of teas, right? And so over the course of a couple hours, I don't know how much tea we drank, but we clearly drank enough because now that was in the afternoon, right? Afternoon. So I go home, I have dinner, it's Saturday night. I'm watching Saturday Night Live. It comes on at 11:30 at night. I'm watching Saturday Night Live and I was vibrating. My legs were vibrating. I was so amped still off of the tea. And once again, let me emphasize, this was tea, not a code for meth or crack. This was just oolong tea and Shaosheng Shushan Lapsang Shushan and English breakfast and Irish breakfast and all the different types of tea. Yeah. Panel, is that it? Tea has not just caffeine, but other stuff that keeps me awake. Yeah, well then it's the other stuff that I am definitely, susceptible to. And, let's see here. Kenny, I traded all your former addictions for coffee and Mountain Dew Zero. You're clean and sober now, and your sleep patterns are garbage. Well, start smoking some weed. Don't do that. Don't do that. Here's the deal. I'm not a doctor. I don't have an MD at the end of my name. I am not trying to practice medicine illegally. Don't do what I just said. I was being silly. And, yeah. So, Pussycat usually have an energy drink in the afternoon. I used to drink Red Bull, the white can Red Bull. And, the white can Red Bull, by the way, tastes like raspberry. and when you pour it out, it's blue. Okay. Um, but I no sugar anymore, so I can't do that. And let's see here. The usual American diet stresses the liver, and about early middle age, the system starts not keeping weight off and stops letting you sleep. Interesting, because I definitely can sleep. As far as the weight off, well, no, but then again, I never could keep the weight off. I've been fat my whole flippin' life. So, it's not really a case of keeping it off, as in, it's just been attracted on. And let's see here. Terry, you love your Dow Egbert's Pure Indulgence coffee in the morning? I don't know how to pronounce that, but apparently the Netherlands has it going on. And, Cindy used to drink Morning Thunder tea in college. Don't need wings to fly with that stuff. And, oh yeah, Gina, I was wired from the tea. Oh my God, dude. That tea was, And, yes, shock, green coffee and white coffee, super, super caffeinated. In fact, actually, the darker the roast, the less caffeine survives the coffee bean. So, if you've got a super, super, super dark, bitter roast, that is going to be way less caffeine content in your cup of coffee than the same amount of beans used to make the same size cup coffee if it were a lighter roast. And that's why a lot of morning blends are usually a light to a medium roast, because they have added caffeine, whereas the evening coffees are generally darker roast because they have less. And Terry in Scotland, I'm not so sure that's true, but Willie Nelson is a board-certified medical doctor from Texas. He recommends daily partaking of the superb herb. Perhaps, but he does not smoke it anymore, apparently. He only does edibles, from what I understand. Yes, indeedy. Andre, thank you so much for giving SD Dodger that gift sub. And let's see here. Kenny, there you go. There is wisdom. Exactly. There is wisdom. And let's see here. And Mama Sean, I'm so right there with you. Y'all scare me with the fake sugar sodas. I totally I totally agree. Fake sugar has scared me for many years now, especially I tried to switch to a stevia sugar a stevia soda. I tried to switch to a sucralose soda, and both of which just bothered the heck and swolled. It swolled. Yep. It swolded. My thyroid got all swole. No, my thyroid got swelled up because of those fake sugars. And ever since then, I just cannot. But, you know, lots and lots of people, that is the harm reduction. That is the harm reduction path that they are choosing to stay off of the sugar. And so there you have it. You know, everybody's got a different path. But I'm right there with you, Mama Sean. Those fake sugars just kind of scare me. And let's see here. You grind up some Kona coffee. What was that, Cindy? To take camping, you have a percolator coffee pot. It makes a perfect cup of coffee. Nice. Yeah, from what I understand, percolator coffee is some of the best. And yes, shock, weed has not been descheduled yet. It's going to be down to a Schedule 3. And in fact, we will talk about that after the Lono listening break, because I am super stoked about that rescheduling, and I'll tell you why. For the most nerdy reason I am excited for this. But before that, let's talk. No, let's not talk. Let's just do some listening with Lono, shall we? All right, let's do it. Boop.
she's an angel, telling stories of her love. Of her love, of her love, yeah.
All right, there we have it, y'all. No, Kenny, I just meant too good to dream. Like, I hadn't even thought about that combo. Lono and Willie Nelson, I think that would be definitely a great match. Willie would probably have to go to Molokai, though. But, you know, hey, Willie can go to Molokai. And, and I'm sure that Lono would be able to greet him with bountiful gardens of things and stuff that came from Molokai, because you know you can't necessarily, although if you're Willie Nelson, I guess you can take whatever you want wherever you want, but until things yeah, Willie hangs out on Maui all the time, right? So Molokai is just a ferry ride away. It's just a plane hop over. You're right, actually I think Willie owns some property on Maui, if I remember correctly, although I definitely might not be remembering correctly, but in regards to the marijuanas, you guys, okay, so as we discussed before the little listening break, cannabis has been recommended to be descheduled. Currently, it's a Schedule 1 drug. That means Schedule 1 drugs, I think are, let's see here, LSD, I think heroin maybe is a Schedule 1, I think PCP is a Schedule 1. These are drugs that have been determined to have absolutely no medical value whatsoever. Schedule 1 drugs are not recognized as medically effective or useful in medicine at all, and we already know that that's patently untrue for marijuana. Marijuana was obviously classed that as a political move, but Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 drugs are the most potent and regulated drugs there are. Moving it down to a Schedule 3 means a bunch of different things. And as Shock pointed out, one of the things it means is all of the states that have legal cannabis, now those industries will be available, those stores, those industries will be available to use the federal banking system. Because right now, since it's a Schedule 1 drug, according to the feds, and the banking industry is a federally as the federal government has oversight of the banking industry, you absolutely cannot have any kind of banking with the drug money, essentially. And so there's no, when you go to a dispensary, you have to use cash. You're not allowed to use credit card. You're not allowed to use a debit card. It's a cash only business, right? So, and this is a problem, but there's another problem. Now having access to the banking is going to be wonderful and make things a lot easier for these stores to operate safely. Because they're a cash only business, these stores have a tendency to be heavy targets for theft. Not only theft of the product, but the money, and mostly the money, because the product is very well labeled and very traceable. So the product is a little bit more difficult to distribute because it's got all sorts of barcodes and QR codes, and you can trace everything. I mean, unless you're going to sit there and unwrap every single piece of merchandise that you stole, all of that has all of the information of who grew this weed, when it was harvested, who it was sold to, and what dispensary should be selling it. So there's no hiding that it would be stolen contraband. But the money, on the other hand, money very easily not traceable. Money is what makes these stores such a target. Well, having access to banking will definitely cut back on that. But what I'm most excited about isn't the banking, y'all. It's the fact that the cannabis industry will no longer have to use Section 280E of the IRS code when it comes to doing their taxes. Like I said, y'all, the reason why I'm stoked is one of the nerdiest things in the world. And right now, just so you know, the IRS basically wants you to declare any and all income that you earn. That includes babysitting income, garage sale income, income from prostitution, income from drug dealing, income from drug smuggling. It doesn't matter. If you earned money, they want you to declare it. Now, if you declare money that is earned through illegal ways, such as the drug trade, the IRS has a special section with rules that you must follow. Unlike traditional businesses, where you have your profit and loss, where you've got your income, then you've got all your expenses, your rent, your electricity, your payroll, your garbage, your water, your all of the regular business expenses. You're not allowed to claim those if you are earning money through the drug trade. The only deductions you are allowed to claim against your income is cost of goods sold. So, if I bought an ounce of weed for $50 and I sold the ounce of weed for $100, I have $100 worth of income. I can only declare $50 of that income as a deduction because that's the cost of goods sold. If I had rent or gas, if I was a drug delivering drug dealer, my auto expenses, my gas, none of that would be deductible. That's not part of your cost of goods sold. Now, they actually are going to be able to treat it like every single other business, and every single expense that they have, they will then be able to treat it like a legitimate deduction. So the entire account tax and accounting world for the world of legal weed is about to completely be shifted by the rescheduling. When the rescheduling is exactly going to happen, it's hard to say. But it most likely will be happening. My best guess is if Biden knew what was best for him, he would make sure it was done by October 2024. And I realize that there's a lot more important issues than that, But let me tell you, if he got that legalized and down to Schedule 3 before the election, that's a talking point that people will care about. And let's see here. And Florida is going legal with weed the next time we vote on it. Oh, I'm sure. I have no doubt in my mind. In fact, I'm kind of Pussycat surprised that it hasn't been legalized in Florida yet. And and Terry and Scott, well, I gotta get drunk and I sure do dread it because I don't know just what I'm gonna do. Yep. Gonna spend my money on women and something, or I can't remember the rest of the lyrics, but let's see here. And right, exactly, Andre. They are such a target for thieves that it just needs to it just needs to have access to banking, and weed, tax it and regulate the crap out of it, then put it on shelves with the beer, wine, and liquor. There you go. Well, in our stores right now, you have to go to a special store for the weed. Then again, it wasn't until fairly recently that you actually in Washington State had to go to a special store for alcohol as well. So going to a special store, no big whoop. They're open from 6 a.m. until midnight every night anyway. I mean, not all of them are, but trust me, you can find them. And Andre's saying, Kenny, the pot market is going down because of competition from illegal pot being so much cheaper than the taxed legal stuff. I don't necessarily know if that's true everywhere, Andre, because as someone who used to deal weed for $250 an ounce, I can get an ounce for $50 at the legal store. Like, it's not, maybe in California stuff is so much more expensive, but ever since weed got legal in Washington, despite the taxation, and boy, there is a huge chunk of tax money that you're paying, but despite it, it's still way cheaper than it has ever been in my entire life of smoking weed. And, ever since I was a kid, weed was $10 a gram, and it only got more expensive, but now I can buy a gram for $8. I can buy an ounce for $50. And Pussycat, your dispensary has a tip jar. I find that very wrong. I don't tip my pharmacist. Pussycat, different stores have different protocol. A lot of stores seem to have a tip jar. The weed store I go to does not. And I was asking about that, and as it turns out, the weed store that I go to pays their employees really well. Whereas all those other weed stores, I'm guessing, don't. And so not only do I not tip, and I don't have to, I'm actually very happy that the store that I happen to prefer to go to doesn't have a tip jar because they don't need one. And because Pussycat, the whole tipping culture to me has just gotten out of hand. So I don't care if it's the pharmacist. I don't care if it's the Baskin and Robbins person. I don't care, whatever, dude. Seriously, I don't. If you're not delivering food to me or serving me food at my table, I really don't see why I'm tipping you. I really don't. Or if you're my bartender, excuse me. Let's see here. Terry, do they sell it by the doob in Washington, and can you order a custom blend? Yes and no. You can buy pre-rolls, but they're already pre-rolled. You can't just be like, hey, mix up some of that from the jar and make me a blah, blah, blah. No. That being said, you can buy your own and make your own, but yeah, you don't get to have a custom blend. Now, the doobs that are pre-rolled are generally one strain. You can be like, I want one Granddaddy Purple, and I want one Cookies and Cream. You can do that, but you wouldn't get them both in one doobie, if that makes sense. And let's see here. Pussycat coming in with the 2-minute warning along with e-music, actually. And let's see here. And Kenny from the Cove, regardless, I have a dream. I want to be able to go to HEB and grab a 6er of Guinness and a 6er of Blunts. There you have it, Rabbit. And let's see here. Crow, tipping only became a thing during the Great Depression because they didn't have enough to pay workers. Now they get paid, and I see no point in tipping. Actually, Crow, that is not true on a couple different levels. First off, there are some states that don't require your server to be paid minimum wage. They're literally getting paid $2.40 an hour, and that $2.40 an hour goes towards their Social Security and Medicare and federal income tax being withheld, and they get nothing. Some states actually require the wait staff only lives on tips. That's their wage, is their tips. They're not required to pay a minimum wage. Now, in the state of Washington, that is not the case. In the state of Washington, what you're saying is absolutely very true. They're getting paid minimum wage or more plus the tip. But there are many states in the union that the only money that your server's getting is coming from a tip. So I think it would be better if you re-examined where you're not tipping to be sure that they're already getting paid isn't in effect, because there are some states where they're not already getting paid. And those states are horrible, horrible states. But I can say that in Washington, what you're saying is totally right. And so, okay, see, there you go. You live in a place that they're legally getting paid minimum wage. Cool, awesome, perfect. That's a good state. But just don't assume, if you go to a different state, don't assume that. Just be aware. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And you are right, eMusic. It is time for us to wrap it up. My voice is getting a little scratchety. And it is 1 minute past the bottom. But before we close up shop, I want to say thank you, Andre, for the 700 biddies. Took me a minute to count. And I want to say thank you, Andre, for all those gift subs. I want to thank everybody for resubbing that resubbed. I want to thank everybody for hanging out here and making it a good time, because I'll tell you right now, I had nothing to talk about. And yet here we are an hour and a half later. We talked about nothing and we talked about everything. Okay, cool. Crow, go night-night. Oh my God, you have to go to bed. Go to bed right now. I mean, you don't have to, but try. But thank you so much, mods, for hanging out, because I know that you had to work extra hard today because there wasn't as many mods as usual. And hopefully we will see each other tomorrow for Daily Pigeon Live with Andy Bumatai at 6 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. Hawaii time. And if not, hopefully we'll see each other 6 p.m. West Coast time on Saturday for a movie. I'm not quite sure which one yet, but I'm thinking Legally Blonde. Lady Misty gave me that idea. All right. Have a good one, y'all. We'll see each other soon. Take care.